You know, my game backlog has gotten to a point where I'm not really sure if I'm buying games because I'm actually going to play them or if I'm buying games just to collect them at this point. So this last year, I kind of thought, hey, why don't we actually try to attack our backlog here? That way we could get caught up to, you know, the newer games that are out. And I'm not going to lie, I went through about 20 games. I would say almost 20 games that I played through this year on my backlog. So I just thought it'd be a good idea to make a little recap of all the games I played this year and, you know, give a little opinion about all of them. So without wasting any more of your guys' time, let's just get right into it. So the first game that I was kind of teetering, I think I beat it at like the end of last year or the beginning of this year. I'm not really too sure. So I just thought, hey, fuck it, throw it in here, you know? But it's going to be Guardians of the Galaxy. And this game, honestly, it was actually a sleeper. It was pretty fucking good. Like, it wasn't like, I wouldn't say like top-notch gaming or anything, but it was a surprise. Like, I didn't really give it a chance because of what the Avengers game, which I haven't even played that, but I heard that game was terrible. So I'm like, oh, do I really want to play Guardians of the Galaxy? But I bought it because I'm stupid and I like to buy the steelbooks, and it was on, you know, sale for the steelbook, so I bought it. And at the beginning, I don't know, man, I was like, I can't really get into it. I don't really like it. But once again, man, I went through with like a fresh mindset. I was like, yo, we got to get through this. Let's just give it a shot. And by the end, I was like, okay, this actually isn't a bad game. It's actually pretty good. So I definitely recommend this one if you're into Marvel games. If you've heard about or if you've played the Avengers, man, don't even think about this game when playing this one. Give this one a fresh take. This game's kind of like a linear storytelling game if you're into that kind of stuff. So like, you know, you have your decisions and, you know, it goes through the story, yada yada yada. I'm not too sure if the decisions have like, you know, a bigger fucking impact on the main game, but I don't know, you have your own little decisions, and you know, the story's pretty good. So I just give it a shot, man. It's really not that bad, man. If I had to give it like out of 10 stars, I'd probably give it like a 7.5 out of 10. Like it's really not bad. It's pretty good. I unfortunately don't have any gameplay, as you could tell, because it was kind of before I started recording for this video. So yeah, sorry about that, guys. But the second game that I played, I do have gameplay. So here you guys go. And that game is going to be Kirby and the Forgotten Land. So basically, whenever I get like the new Nintendo product, I usually go with games like Super Smash Bros. Or Pokemon. Those are usually my go-to games whenever I buy a new Nintendo system. And so this year I'm like, you know, let's try to go for something different. Let's expand our range a bit, you know? Let's go with like some Kirby games, some Samus games, some Link games, you know, like shit like that, you know? So this was the first game that I gave a shot that is not Pokemon or Mario. And I gotta say, man, I love this game. This was a fantastic game. It's realistically like, I believe it's like my first Kirby game, if I'm being honest with you guys. And I loved it. There was not a lot about this game that I didn't like. I loved how we could upgrade abilities. The bosses were pretty alright, you know, they weren't too challenging, but they're all pretty fun. They all seemed pretty creative. I liked all the bosses. The post game was pretty good too, although finding every part of the guy's soul, I'm not going to spoil it, but you have to find this guy's, you know, parts of his soul. It was a little bit tedious, but it wasn't too bad. But then you got to fight like the bosses from the main game into the post game, but they have like new looks and new moves and shit. It was a nice little fresh take on them, you know, like with like kind of like upgrading them. But yeah, man, I would highly recommend this game. This game was fantastic. So I give this game like probably like an 8.5, 9 out of 10. Like it was, dude, I loved this game. It makes me excited to play all the other Kirby games that I bought. Because trust me, I have more Kirby games on the backlog for this next year. The next game that I played was called Armored Core 6 Fires of Rubicon. And my friend got this for my birthday, so I was like, well, shit, you know, I gotta play it. So it jumped to the top of my list pretty much immediately. I popped the game in and I think, oh shit, this game is gonna be pretty badass. It's like Gundam type shit, right? I'm a giant ass robot fighting other giant ass robots. What more could a guy want? But literally by the second big boss, I was losing my virginity. And I'm like, bro, why can't I beat this? And it's because my dumbass thought that I could just use the default robot and cruise through the game. Well, you know, I turned to fucking college YouTube here, and it turns out that the game was made from the same creators as Dark Souls. Fucking Dark Souls. So, you know, thanks to my friend here, I didn't know that I was playing a game that was getting my blood pressure up from all the goddamn stress. Thankfully, though, I put it to the top of my list so I could start the year in worse health than I did the year before, which reminds me, my doctors are saying that my blood pressure is a little bit high, probably thanks to this game. So you're gonna need to explore with weapons and figure out what goes well with what. For example, legs have different functions. Some are 2 legs, some are multiple legs, some even have tank bases. Guns all do different things. Some release energy shots, some release shields, some release like this cool little fucking like blade type thing, some shoot regular bullets, and so on. The level of customization is pretty impressive because you could change the color of your mech to almost whatever color you want, along with the guns and a lot of other shit. You could also give your mech some abilities, and you can also upgrade damage reduction and output and all this other shit. Then you also have some little side boss mission fights where you could just go one-on-one with AI mechs, kind of like your own. So yeah, overall, it's a really tough game. I went into it blind and yeah, I got my ass handed to me, but it's really fun once you get the hang of it and once you find your loadout. So remember, the learning curve is kind of steep. So if you aren't into experimenting and going with trial and error with a lot of the bosses, you probably won't like it very much. But if, and I mean if, you stick with it and you complete the game, bro, you'll like it. I give this game like an 8.5. The next game I played is gonna be Rage 2. So I actually played Rage 1 when it came out like years ago, but this game took so damn long to come out that I kind of forgot to play it. So when I got around to it, I actually really liked it. I gotta say, the thing that I loved most about this game was the firefights. The way that the guns sound when they hit enemies, and especially when you get headshots, man, they just sound so fucking rewarding. Like, I think this game probably has my favorite sounds for when you get headshots. Like, they're like little sounds, and they're just so fucking, I'm telling you, it's amazing. They're rewarding as fuck. I almost ran out of breath on that last sentence. That's how badly I wanted to get that sentence out, man. It is so rewarding. I also found myself doing damn near every little side mission because I really wanted to upgrade all the skill trees that you have. You have weapon skill trees, ability skill trees, then you got like these 3 character skill trees, which are what the side missions are navigated around. The 3 characters are AI in the game that help the protagonist stop the main threat, and 1 AI character helps with the main protagonist's combat skills, the other AI character is for loot and rewards, and so on. This game is kind of like an open world, dry wasteland, kind of like a Mad Max type of game if that's what you're into. Although it's not, you know, just all about cars and shit. It does actually have like some challenges with cars, so you know, you can do that if you want to. But I'm telling you, the firefights are where it's at. Severely underrated game. I didn't hear much about it, but it is actually really good. The only problem that I have was the final boss. But it could also be because I spent my entire time doing these side missions, so I was pretty well prepared for the final boss when I came to him. He was a pushover. Like, it was a pretty easy boss fight. After I beat him, I was like, wait, that's it? Like, that was all that was there? So overall, Rage 2, pretty good game. I'm gonna give it like a 7.5. 7.5 to me is not bad. I know it sounds bad. Everyone wants like the 8, 9, 10s, but 7.5 isn't bad. I consider bad like a 6. Like anything 6 and below is bad to me. All right, so I'm not a big fan of prequels, but here we go with Resident Evil 0. And if you don't know, I'm a huge RE fan. I beat 1 through 8 as well as Revelations 1 and 2, and I even tried to beat the Umbrella Chronicles on Wii, although I don't remember if I actually beat that or not. But yeah, Resident Evil 0, and let's see, man, let's just get into this. The gameplay is the same as the first one, but instead of either choosing Chris or Jill, you're both protagonists. The character switching was pretty smooth, although I hate how the game got rid of the item box that they had in 1, 2, and 3, and instead you have 6 slots with Billy and 6 slots with Rebecca. So you have a total of 12 item slots, which might sound like a lot, but take into consideration, a shotgun takes up 2 slots, grenade launcher, another 2 slots. So that's 4 slots down, you only have 8 left. So you have to save for ammo, health, and key items. Oh wait, and that's also not including if you want to have a handgun for each character. So if you want a handgun for each character, then you're working with 6 slots. Oh, and then the all-time stupidest idea is the hook shot. It doesn't do any damage to enemies. It's literally a gun, an item, or whatever that's used to progress through the game at certain times. That takes up another 2 slots. And instead of an item box, you just drop the item on the ground. And then you have to backtrack to come get it later. And then let's see, I didn't really like the leech monsters. They made no sense to me. Like, how the fuck am I gonna shoot some leeches and then they just explode? Also, the bosses are pretty lame. I mean, they're pretty much all just giant animals. You had like a giant bat, a giant centipede, shit like that. It wasn't very creative. Then I beat the game, so I tried their little bonus leech hunter game mode, and it wasn't bad, but you know, getting those achievements were stressful as fuck. I also heard that this was one of the hardest Resident Evils to beat on hard mode, and I gotta say, besides the final boss fight, it really wasn't all that bad. The final boss fight I beat by like the skin of my teeth. I damn near think I had like 10 bullets left in my handgun, and I don't know, man, I just don't like bosses that you can't actually kill. On this boss fight, you just have to survive. But if you've played the game, you know that Rebecca can take about as much damage as a newborn infant, so she's really no help, which is kind of a bummer because I feel like she was kind of the main character, but I used her as a side piece and I mained as Billy. So yeah, it kind of disappointed me how like Jill was super cool to use, and I loved using Jill in Resident Evil 1, and then Rebecca seemed like she was the main character, but then just kind of got pushed to the side by Billy. So yeah, overall, god, dude, I gotta, this game, I gotta give like probably like a 4. I really wanted to give it a 5, but I was like, it's, no, dude, because you guys know Resident Evil, man. We got like the god tier games like Resident Evil 4, Resident Evil 7, shit like that. Like shit, I think the only game that I wouldn't play over this is Resident Evil 6, which doesn't say a lot. The next game I played is gonna be the new Pokemon Snap. And honestly, I don't have a lot of notes on this game. If you played the original on the Nintendo 64, you already know what this is about. We're in our little fucking bicicleta and we're just, you know, taking pictures of Pokemon. That's all it is. But I like the first one. I grew up with it, alright? right? So I like the first, so I was like, I'll give the second a try. And my notes are literally 3 things. I hate how I didn't have turbo until way too late in the game. The second note is, other than that, it's a chill, relaxing, beautiful looking game. And the third one is that my attention span is just too fucking short and I lost interest midway through most levels. So yeah, the first one, I hate how I didn't have turbo. That's pretty self-explanatory, man. They don't give you turbo until way later in the game. And you have to replay missions to get better scores to unlock new levels. And I'm just like, dude, I'm replaying the same exact shit. Can I please just get the turbo, please? But no, like way later in the game you get it, way too late. The second note, it's a chill, relaxing, beautiful game. It really is. It's a beautiful looking game. It's super relaxing. If you just want like a little kickback, relaxed game, this is definitely it. Third note, my attention span is too fucking short. I lost interest midway through most levels. That's true. I see myself doing that. My attention span is too fucking short and I really did lose like interest midway through most of the levels. And then when I had to replay them, I was like, oh my God, just fucking strike me, please, just kill me. I did not want to replay the same level like 6 times just so I could get a better score, you know? And it's kind of hard to give this one a good score because I know Pokemon are not a good score, but you know, kind of a fair score. Mostly because I know Pokemon fans, they are bro, you guys are just, you guys are all about Pokemon, man. It's kind of crazy. It's almost like it's like fucking with the Beehives or like the Taylor Swift fans, dude. It's wild. But I gotta be fair, man. I don't really care. I've already pissed off enough Pokemon fans with why I hate Pokemon Scarlet video. I think it's still one of my most disliked videos I have, but it's just speaking truth, bro. If you guys can't handle it, then I'm sorry to hurt your feelings. Like, I don't really care. Like, all these kids could go cry to their mom and then tell their moms to give me their number. So this one I'm gonna give like a 5. Like, it's beautiful to look at. I'm giving it a 5 because basically it gets so boring. And they should have like included, I heard there's a lot more shit later in the game, but they should have been introducing that shit throughout the game, not just save it all for like end game shit and then have you just kind of, you know, like tread through the fucking mud throughout the beginning like 7 hours of the game. Like, dude, it gets so it's so fucking boring at the beginning. Like the first couple of environments, you're like, all right, this is cool. Like I like this, you know, it's cool. I'm taking pictures of Pokemon. But then, like I said, you have to replay the levels to get better scores. And by the time you're playing the exact same level for the 4th time in a row, you're just like, oh my God, please, I just want to speed through this a little bit, but you can't because you don't have turbo. So yeah, all you Pokemon fans are gonna hate me. I was tempted to give it a 6, but honestly, I'd probably play Resident Evil 0. I'd almost rather play Resident Evil 0 before this one. The only saving grace is that this is just, you know, it's beautiful to look at. That's really it. So yeah, I give it a 5. The next game I finally got to Kingdom Hearts. I was super excited to play this game because, you know, I've heard a lot about it. It's like one of those games that like apparently everyone has played. And overall, I would say that I didn't have the most fun with this game. It wasn't bad by any means, but I'm gonna chalk up all the negatives as it was just kind of a game of its time. Like the targeting system wasn't the best. I could be facing a guy like 300 feet away, but I'm walking towards the camera because there are guys literally 5 feet behind me, and yet my guy would still attack the guy that's 300 feet away from me in front of me. I hate how there wasn't a trail or something of where to go, kind of like in Fable or Dead Space. Although I did like how we could get different items and give them to our characters, and I didn't really use the support summons as much, but when I did, I thought they were pretty cool too. I also really like all the cameos of all the Disney characters and the level designs that fit the characters they were interacting with, except for the jungle level, man. That level was confusing as fuck. Also, the music to this game was amazing. I really enjoyed the music. The story was a bit confusing since Donald and Goofy were looking for Mickey, but then by the end we found Mickey, but then he just disappears again. So they're kind of in the exact same spot that they were at the beginning of the game. So I'm like, I don't really know why we did everything. I don't even know what the point of the game was, to be honest. Like, if you were to ask me what the plot of Kingdom Hearts 1 is, I honestly could not tell you. I think we're just looking for Mickey and that was it. Like, I really don't know what the story was. Although some of the bosses were a pain in the ass, I still thought they were pretty cool and I liked the variety. Like Ursula in Atlantis or the giant sand lion thing in Aladdin. But Jesus Christ, dude, the second to last level where all the guys are swarming you, just, oh my God, dude. Don't get me started on that. And also the final boss fight, dude, it was way too long. Like, long story short, you start off on the beach fighting a guy, and you go into a little dome, fight the same guy, and you go into like this weird little world, fight the guy who transformed into a Resident Evil guy, and then before you could get to stage 2 of that fight, there's like little like intermission fights. We're in a dark room trying to save Goofy and Donald. So you got like the Resident Evil phase 1, and then the dark room fight, and then the Resident Evil boss fight 2, and then another dark room fight, and then like the Resident Evil phase 3 fight, and then another little dark room fight, and then finally the stage 4 fight. Like, it was a lot. So what would I rank this game? I really don't think it's bad. Like, I get why people like this game, I really do. I'm just trying to debate if I would play it before I'd play Rage 2 or like, you know, Guardians of the Galaxy. Okay, no, I'm gonna make it fair. I'm gonna give it a 7.5. That's the highest I'm gonna go. I'm not gonna go any higher for this. It's 7.5, that's it. Next game on the list is gonna be Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury. And I'm not too big of a fan of Mario, like don't get me wrong, I get the whole appeal, I really do. I love the movies and I respect Mario, but I swear the only Mario games that I actually played were like maybe Mario Sunshine and then, you know, Super Smash Bros, Mario Kart, and Mario Party, if you could even call those actual Mario games. So going into this game, I wasn't expecting too much, and the main campaign, I was like, meh. I did like how it was co-op, although I have no one to play with, and I liked how each character had different skills. Like Peach could float, Luigi could jump a little bit higher, Toad was speedy as fuck, and Mario was all around. I thought the worlds were creative, however, I guess my problem with Mario games is that they don't really have that scary, intimidating villain. I get it, it's a child's game, but I'm so tired of the same Bowser villain over and over and over again. For example, I liked the Kirby Forgotten Land bosses because they were unique and they were decently challenging but fun, and there were drastic changes from the regular enemies. Whereas the Mario bosses just didn't seem as creative. I fought a giant boulder, a weird square border with spikes, almost like it was a fucking picture frame with spikes, two of Bowser's children, and I don't know, man, it just felt like the bosses of the worlds didn't really stand out at all, whereas I still remember a decent amount of the bosses in Kirby. The final fight wasn't that bad. This whole game's gimmick is about the cat transformation, which isn't bad at all, but then Bowser turned into a giant cat turtle thing, I don't know, and he just had to climb this dope ass skyscraper hotel building to beat him. Overall, the game was alright, but I don't know if it's anything to brag about. However, I really liked Bowser's Fury, and once again, I feel like it's because Bowser looked so menacing in it. I swear I was never gonna get this game until I saw how Bowser looked on the cover, and I thought, this is what I want to see out of my villains. This DLC was a lot more open world than the main campaign, and I mistakenly went for 100% completion of it, like area by area. So by the time I got like halfway through the DLC, it turns out I already beat Bowser. So I was like, oh, I didn't even really finish the rest of the final area. Let's see, like the main game, I would probably grade like a 6, but Bowser's Fury, man, probably like an 8, an 8.5. Like I said, I'm a big fan of my villains looking menacing. It was a good Switch game, but I don't know if I'm gonna go back to it. I'd probably honestly rather play Kirby before I get back to this one. So yeah, I'll give this one a 7.5. All right, next game up is gonna be Life is Strange Before the Storm. This game is one of those games where your decisions affect the outcome of the rest of the game. So if you're into those type of games, man, you'll love this game. And I gotta say, I love these games, so I thought this was an amazing game. I was so into the story right from the jump. We literally start by sneaking into a concert as a minor and then getting into a fight. Our main character here is Chloe, and she's kind of like rebelling against her mother right now. She's also going through one of the hardest times in her life right now, and it goes from being one of her hardest moments in life to like finding someone that she could confide in. And it's just overall a beautiful game and a beautiful story. It's a great game. Basically, Chloe lost her dad and she's really struggling with the coping aspect of that. So she doesn't like how her mom's already dating this new guy. I don't really remember the time span from when he died to the new guy, but yeah, Chloe is not about the stepdad because he's more strict. And all these little flashback moments that Chloe has with her dad reminds me a lot of The Walking Dead with Lee, but it also puts some insight on just how much Chloe is struggling with the loss of her dad. And I don't know, man, I got a sweet spot for Chloe. She seems to be this hard, take no shit kind of girl, always in trouble and all that, and she seems like she would be really hard to trust. But yet, if you break down those walls that she has just a little bit, she is quite literally the definition of a ride or die. She will go to the ends of the earth to make the people that she's with happy, and I just respect her so much. The ending of this game left me with my mouth literally wide open, because if you don't know, this game is like a prelude to the first game. So it goes Life is Strange, and then it goes, this game is right before it, but obviously this game was made after it. So this is a prelude to the first one, which I have played. However, I forgot what happened in the first game. So if you don't know, Chloe's crush is her childhood friend named Max. Max is the main character in the first game. So Max moved to Seattle in the first game, but she comes back. And her and Chloe kind of get together. So in this game, Chloe's little love interest is a girl named Rachel. So I'm thinking, all right, cool, this is great for Chloe, you know, be with Rachel and all that, you know, but I kind of thought we ended up with Max in the first one, so how does this gonna work? And without spoiling it, man, the ending is just, bro, I was like, holy shit. Like, I knew something was gonna happen, but I wasn't expecting it to happen so abruptly. So rating this game, I am a huge fan of these type of games, so I loved it. I honestly haven't got back to it just because I'm gonna be sad again. Like, this game is not not meant for me. I'm just like a hopeless romantic, and I just wanted Chloe to be her Rachel. And yeah, I don't want my heart to be broken again, but I do love this game. I give this game like a 9. It is great. So Life is Strange Before the Storm was so good that I had to jump right into Life is Strange True Colors right after. And I gotta say, this game looks beautiful. Like the graphics, the shading, the colors, just everything, man. It's on another level from the last game. There are certain points in the game where the main character Alex is monologuing and they're just showing off the scenery, and I'm just like, oh my god, dude, this dude is just beautiful, man. The story was also amazing. It doesn't really relate to the first game at all, since this is a spin-off, but it's a very good spin-off. So you're a girl named Alex that grew up in the foster care system and was separated from her brother at an early age. Well, now you're all grown up and you move into the same city as your brother. However, your brother dies at the beginning of episode 1. Literally episode 1. So the game is basically a murder mystery where your main character Alex gets to the bottom of it. She is an empath and she can basically read other people's emotions. And at the end of chapter 4, it ends on a great cliffhanger, but episode 5 kind of starts showing Alex's backstory. And at first I didn't really care for it, but then I kind of found myself caring more for Alex after it. It was actually pretty sad and really touching, actually. And I don't know if this is a spoiler, but the final decision is either you leave the city that you know, that just you called home, your brother died in, and you just created bonds with everyone here, or you stay and you don't go with the girl that's leaving, because you eventually get into a little romantic scene with another person, you know, and they're trying to leave and you decide to stay without them. And bro, it fucking broke me, man. So yeah, you can make Alex go towards a lesbian relationship or a straight relationship, and I don't know what it is with me, but I always go for the lesbian route. I did that in the last game, I did that in this game, and I also did it in The Walking Dead season 4. I don't know why I do that. I thought I was an honorary lesbian, but my sister just said it's because I'm so straight that I want to be with the girl no matter who I play as. So that kind of shit on my day. I also noticed that the creators of Life is Strange must have a type, because if you look at the first Life is Strange, Max's love interest is Chloe, who I introduced in the last one, a rock type girl with short hair and a beanie, and in True Colors, guess what the female love interest is into? That's right, Alex is into a girl that likes mostly rock music with her hair short just like Chloe and also a beanie. But yeah, man, this game I wasn't expecting a lot because it's a spin-off, but man, it was a great fucking game as well, I'm not gonna lie. These Life is Strange games they slap. So rating this game, it is a spin-off, it's not a continuation of the first one or the prequel or anything like that, so I can't rate it like a 9, but it is I'm gonna give it like an 8.5. It is still very solid, it is very good. Like I went through it multiple times. Next game is gonna be Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories. Now my first little tidbits are gonna be basically before I actually got really into it. It's like kind of when I was getting used to the game. So here we go. So I initially thought that the combination of card gameplay and using the same combat as the first game is probably one of the worst combinations that I could think of. I feel like it would have worked well if the gameplay was a tad bit slower, or if it was like its own separate card game, because I actually really enjoyed collecting the cards and building a strong deck. It kind of reminded me of my OG Pokemon / Yu-Gi-Oh collecting days, but to combine it with the fast-paced fighting style like the first one, I feel like it didn't really need to be included. The second little tidbit is also, let's talk about kind of just how pointless the game was. Now you guys can attack me all you want because, you know, I'm just a fucking noob here, I don't really know. And I've only really played the first one at this point, so I don't really know all of the game lore. But for us to just go through damn near the exact same levels as the first with the same enemies just to find a girl that isn't even real, and then try to make a promise to her as if we've known her our whole life. I thought this game was a huge waste of time, to be honest. Like if I was to like not play this game at all, I'm pretty sure I would still like, you know, like all the other games. But having played the second now, I can see they incorporated some of the, you know, the Chain of Memories people into the second. I still don't think it was really that big of a difference. I don't know why the game, you know, why we did what we did, but whatever. Like I said, I think it was just irritating how we went through the exact same levels. They just kind of changed up the fighting style. Now overall, once I got used to the game, I actually really liked it. Like I got this nice little combination of cards that like worked with damn near everyone, dude. I just fucking wrecked everybody towards the end. Like I had that deck that Kaiba would have been proud of. So the game wasn't really that hard once it clicked and I had a good little system going. I pretty much spammed like one slate for damn near all the boss fights. And I spent a lot of my level ups on the CP points so I could afford powerful cards. So yeah, man, once I figured out what I was doing, I was like, yo, it just all clicked, and I'm like, yo, this game is actually not so bad. Like I actually really enjoyed it. I think I actually enjoyed it more than I enjoyed the first one. So let me see, for a rank for this this game, what did I give the first one? I gave the first one a 7.5. I'm gonna go with okay, this is gonna be a little bit weird, but I'm gonna go with a 7.7. Like, I actually like this one a little bit more once the card deck building started to click. So yeah, a 7.7, a little bit better than the first, but you know, not by a large margin, but you know, I liked it a little bit more. Next game up is Luigi's Mansion 2 HD Remake. So I'm just gonna come out and say it. This game is not as good as the first. The ghosts were very generic. The first one had unique ghosts that kept me intrigued. You would have the bodybuilding ghost, or the dad one, or the dancing pair, or the artist, the list goes on and on. This one was just the same green, red, blue, or pink ghost, with the occasional purple or yellow ghost. It just didn't feel as creative as the first game, at all. Also, why was Mario even thrown into the game at the very end? I understood the story as we needed to get the crystal rebuilt to get the ghosts under control again. But then Mario was thrown in quite literally the second to last level. Why did he need to make an appearance at all? I don't know why they're making a Luigi game include Mario. Fuck, let Luigi have his fucking moment, please. The boss fights weren't even all that great either. I liked the spider boss, but once again, it was the same ghost possessing things. Unlike the first game where once again you had the baby, or the ooze monster, or the gang of boos as the area boss. I'm telling you, they are all different, all unique, and the list goes on. This game just kind of had the same white skin shedding ghost possessing things. I like the spider boss, it was a good little first area boss, but then you're fighting things like a staircase, or a suit of armor, or a clock. And it just wasn't as good as the first game, man. It was a shame. And don't get me started on the King Boo final boss fight. You have the boss fight for 3 stages, and yet the way to beat him is the exact same way every single time. Once again, lacking creativity. I'm okay with bosses that have phases, but make it different to defeat them every time. Don't have me beat him in phase 1 just to add a little lightning in phase 2, and yet still have the exact same weakness, than just to do it all over again for the 3rd phase. It was very disappointing, man. That final boss fight was just not very good. I really wanted to like this game. I really did, because I love the first one. I have it in such high regard. I really wanted to like this game. I just couldn't. It was just, it's a disappointment. It's really not that good. This is definitely the black sheep of the trilogy. First one was great. Second one, terrible. Third one, it was not bad. So yeah, this one, rank, let me think. I'm gonna give this one maybe, let's go with a 5.5. I can't even give it a 6. I really can't. But I don't want to go below a 5. So I'm giving it a solid, I'm just giving it 5.5. That's it. Let's just move on. Next game up is gonna be Little Nightmares. And man, this game was amazing. Visuals were amazing. Music, amazing. The controls weren't as tight as I'd like them to be. Most of the game is pretty consistent though, except for the chef's part, which was just terrible for my no death run. Cause you know, I had to get a 100% gamer score on this. But that's really my only complaint. So yeah, game looks good, music was amazing, the twist at the end made me feel a sense of power I'd never felt in real life. The enemies look gross and I actually really liked it. We went from the Crooked Man to King Gristle from Trolls to the fat people from Wall-E. It was just overall a great game that I enjoyed. The atmosphere is flawless. I was in awe of the scale of things compared to our character, and even the DLC ending had me in awe as well. I was like, bro, what the fuck? So yeah, I cannot wait to play the second one. So giving this one a rank, yeah, for this one, I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna give this like an 8.5, almost a 9. Actually, let's go like an 8.7. I'm giving it an 8.7. I feel like it's a little bit better than an 8.5, but I wouldn't give it like a 9. I don't know why, it's just how I feel, and I rarely give a game a 10, so don't even like look forward to 10s. 9, maybe a 9.5 is my highest. This one's gonna be like an 8.7. Really good game. Bro, just play it. Really good. Next game is gonna be The Forest. Now, I don't really have any notes on this one. I actually opened up my notes and it was blank, so I'm gonna freeball it here. This game is really fun if you have people to play. If you don't have people to play with, it gets a lot more scary, a lot more intense, and I kind of just wanted to kill myself. Thankfully though, I had my sister as well as Shay to play this game with, and playing with them, man, it was a blast. It was super fun. If you haven't played this game, just imagine Minecraft but M-rated or R-rated or whatever it is. It's essentially Minecraft, but instead of, you know, the little creatures that are out there, you have cannibals. Your plane crashes and you lose your son. The son gets kidnapped by cannibals, and the cannibals have this elaborate cave system underground, and you basically have to find clues to help find your son, all while trying to manage resources and stuff, because you know you don't want to die of like hunger or starvation or, you know, like dehydration or anything. But each day that passes by, the enemies get more and more difficult. At first they're kind of shy and timid. They'll be in the background where you can barely see them, but I swear by like day 10 they're just right there in your face. They're all like swarming your base. Like it's wild. It gets crazy. So yeah, really Really fun game if you have people to play with. I personally, I like the game. I know if you don't like Minecraft, you might not like this one, but it, like I said, it's an adult version of it. I personally enjoyed it as long as I had people to play with. If I'm playing solo, I'm probably not even gonna touch it. I'm not gonna lie. So rank time. If you have people to play with, so in my experience, this is my experience, I had people to play with, I give this game an 8. If I have people to play with, I'll play it again easily. However, if I don't have people to play with, I'm not that type to just spend hours on Minecraft just aimlessly going around. And the same thing with this one. I'm not gonna play it by myself. I gotta have friends with me. So a solid 8 if I have friends, which I don't. Next game up is gonna be Final Fantasy 15. This is my first ever Final Fantasy game, so I went in not knowing what to expect at all. But right from the start, the graphics in this game were beautiful. I mean, like damn right gorgeous. I felt like I was watching a movie. The gameplay I could see getting a little bit repetitive, but I personally really enjoyed it. You know, you got your different weapons and magic you could use along with skill trees and upgrading your gear. All the characters are pretty unique and memorable for the most part. I might not remember their names all that well, but I remember their characters. The huge boss fights were crazy fun to play as well. It is an open world map, so driving to destinations is a bit annoying just because it would take a very long time to travel if it's across the map. If I have more time to play this game, I would definitely look into it more and like, you know, complete the side quests and complete it 100%. I just never have any time to do all that shit. And apparently I wrote all of that before I beat it because now my review is about to take a dark turn. So here we go. It is one of the worst last half games that I have ever played. Arden, basically the main villain, is talking a lot of shit about how I'm nothing without my friends. Meanwhile, I'm destroying everything he sends at me, so it makes no fucking sense. Then it's all just labyrinth after labyrinth after labyrinth. Or you're turning on the power, then turning on the power again, then turning on the power again. It gets so fucking repetitive. Now that I'm saying this out loud, I actually remember all of this, and I remember it was terrible. Anyway, back to the review. This part literally made me not want to play the game anymore. Seriously, guys, I was so excited to play this game until like after chapter 9. I don't know, whenever the big water boss fight was, it was amazing. After that though, the train part is just kind of meh, and then the entire part with the main antagonist might as well be like the worst gaming I've ever played. I was ready to give this game a 10 out of 10 right before the water boss fight, or like right after it, but the end is so goddamn awful. I just want to give it a 5 out of 10, if that. The end just took like, it took a nosedive off of a cliff. It was awful. So if I had to give this game a rank, I give it like, I'm trying to give this a fair shake here. Overall, oh dude, the ending was just so bad. I'm gonna have to give this a 7. Like it was a great game until the end. The end was terrible. Next game up is gonna be Disneyland Adventures. And sorry, I don't really have any gameplay, but it's basically just the Disneyland theme park and you're walking around doing quests for the Disney characters. The rides also have kind of like built-in mini games. It was one of my guilty pleasures, man. Don't judge me. It was one of those games you could just walk around the Disney park without having to pay for a hotel and travel and souvenirs. If you love Disneyland like I do, then you'll like it. If you hate Disney adults like me, then fuck off, don't play it. But you know, just one of those guilty pleasure games. I give this like a 6.5. Probably wouldn't play it again, but it's nice just to turn off your brain and just wander around Disney, you know? Next game is gonna be Nexomon. And I'm gonna freeball it here. I don't really have any notes, but I remember getting this game because it was on sale for like, I think like $5 or something like that. And it just looked like everything I wanted on a Pokemon game just on my Xbox. Because we never really had a console release for a 2D Pokemon game. Because if you think about it, Pokemon Black and White and all those 2D graphics games are all for the handheld consoles. Basically just imagine Pokemon, but on console. Like old school 2D graphics, like it was great. It was fantastic. The only real complaint I had about this game was that the damage output was very wonky. You could tell that this game wasn't polished because some of the damage output made absolutely 0 sense. But overall, I spent like 40-50 hours into this game because like I said, it's everything I wanted in a Pokemon game. I wish the Switch would have achievements or something like trophies, but they don't in Pokemon games. This game does. They have achievements like, oh, get your first starter Pokemon, catch a legendary Pokemon, defeat this gym leader. Those are the achievements that I want on the Switch. I don't know why the Switch doesn't have an achievement or trophy system. I really don't. I already consider calling them like accolades or something like that, you know? And then you could do like the trophies on PlayStation and just give little stars. Mario stars. Have a bronze star, a silver star, a gold star, and a rainbow star. Trust me guys, I'm sitting on $1 million idea. I've had it here for a long time. This is like my moment to get this out. So that was my idea for Switch achievements. But this game was great. If I had to rank it, I give this one like a 7.5. It's really good. I'd probably go in and replay it again, but this game was so good that I had to actually pick up the second one, and that's going to be Nexomon Extinction. This game pretty much just picks up right where the other one left off. Kind of not really. It's like a couple hundred or 1,000 years in the future or whatever from the last one, but it brings up the last one a lot. And it's the same concept as the last one, just has a few new Nexomon, a few old ones that they bring back. The damage output and stuff are kind of corrected, so everything is a lot more smoother than the last one. And this one just has the same love and care that the last one had. You could just kind of tell because this game is also very self-aware that it's a game. There are fourth wall breaks everywhere in this game. This game is very aware that it's a video game. Like, they make jokes that they're a video game all the time. But yeah, this is more of a polished version from the last one. Since it is part 2, you know, they kind of just worked on shit and made it a lot better. Once again, I spent like 50, 60 hours on this game. It's a great game, man. I give this game like an 8.2. It was fantastic. Like I said, Pokemon on Xbox. It was amazing. Next game is going to be the Lego Ninjago game. I don't have any gameplay for this one either, so I'll keep it short and simple. It's your basic Lego game. If you played a Lego game, you know how this goes. It's going to follow along with the movie, but in Lego form. It's the same recipe they've been doing for years, and people like me keep buying all the new shit, or old shit. I'm pretty sure this is old. But yeah, there's nothing else to it. Just your Lego Ninjago game. You know, you got all the fucking ninjas there. You can unlock them all. You got the little free play areas, all that good shit. I give this one like a 6. It's not the best Lego game I've ever played, but it's also not the worst. It's just kind of right in the middle. And I didn't really want to give it a 7, so I just went in with the 6. I'll give it a 6. It's your basic Lego game. Next game up is going to be Kingdom Hearts 2.5 Remix. This year I really tried to focus on Kingdom Hearts. I really wanted to get all of them out of the way, but yeah, I only got like through 3 of them. But this one's an improvement from the first one, I'm not gonna lie. I did like the ultimate forms or whatever, you know, you have like different transforming forms. I forget what they were called. Like there you go, Valor form. That's all I remember. But yeah, it was a step up from the first one. These games tend to run a little bit long, but this one had a little bit more objective than the last one. So I didn't really have that hard of a time figuring out where to go as I did in the first, which is a big fucking like yes for me. Like, thank you for that. Combat's pretty much still the same. The only thing that I did not like about this is that I cannot figure out how to double jump. Like, I think I had to transform into one of my forms to double jump or like dodge roll. And that really irritated me because in the first one, I lived off of rolling. This one, I could not roll unless I transformed into one of my ultimate forms. But overall, the graphics were a lot better. The story made a little bit more sense, although I still couldn't tell you what it was about. It's still a blank, but I do still like the Disney areas that we visited. I also like how when you're in an area, say like the Lion King, you're a little lion. Or when you're in The Nightmare Before Christmas, you guys are dressed up as Halloween characters. Little stuff like that, little attention to detail, I really do appreciate, and I really did enjoy that. It made the worlds a little bit more interesting. So this one, I'm gonna give an 8.5. I thought this one was pretty good. This one dude kicked my ass though repeatedly. I almost just gave up. But I figured out I could do more than just one combo. I could do like 3 combos in one. I don't know what the fuck I was thinking. So it was kind of my fault. But yeah, I give it an 8.5. It was a pretty good game. I enjoyed it. All right, guys, home stretch. And the next game that I played was gonna be Little Nightmares 2. And this game, man, it just blew my expectations out of the fucking water. Honestly, I was a little bit worried. I was kind of like, man, I really hope this game is as good as the first. But man, it's fucking better, dude. This game is fucking amazing. Still has the creepy ass atmospheres, still has the creepy ass bosses, still has the dope ass story with no words spoken. This game just blew my mind, dude. It was way better than the first. And I also love how every chapter has its own unique boss. First chapter, you got the shotgun guy. Second chapter, you got Throat Goat. Third chapter is the doctor guy and the mannequins. Fourth chapter is the TV guy. Fifth chapter is I forgot who. There's not much more I can say about this. I'm gonna give this an easy 9.2. It was a fantastic game. If you like the first one, this one will not disappoint. It's better than the first by far. It's amazing. All right, second and last game is going to be Hot Wheels Unleashed. And this one's also one of those guilty pleasure ones that I played. It's just one of those ones where, you know, I don't want to do anything too competitive or think too hard. I just race little fucking cars. It's pretty cool. And also, I don't really know of any arcade-like racing games that are out there. Because, you know, you got the Forzas and the Gran Turismos and all that, but you don't have an arcade racing. So this one kind of stuck out and I liked it. I'm not going to say I really liked it. I like the scale of things. So how this game made me feel like I was just a little toy car in the basement on a track that, I don't know, some fucking 7-year-old made. It was just a fun experience. That's all it was. So yeah, I'm not gonna say I really enjoyed it, but I enjoyed it. I could respect it, you know, I liked it. Gotta keep this one short because I don't really have any video either, so yeah. But I'm gonna go with the 7.8. Like I said, it's just one of those games that you don't really see too many arcade racing games, and this is one of them, so I admire it. I like it. All right, the last game that I beat in 2024 is gonna be Luigi's Mansion 3. In this game, huge step up from number 2. I don't think it's as good as the first still, but it's way better than the second. The boss ghosts are actually pretty memorable. I actually really like them. Kind of went back to the first one, where they were just creative, you know? It wasn't like the second one where you had just like this generic ass ghost possessing shit. In this one, the boss ghosts were actually unique. So I appreciated that. I like that. That's what I like about the first one. The only thing that I didn't really like about this game was that we relied on Luigi like a lot. So if you don't know, they have like a little sidekick that's gonna be Luigi, but he's made out of goo, and he could go through bars and all that other shit. But they rely on him a lot in this game. So like the first quarter of the game, you're not really using him. You don't even know about him. But once they introduce him, man, it is just off to the races. You are using Luigi non-stop. And that's where I'm kind of like, you know, you kind of lost me with that. It's not that bad if I'm being real. I just thought they relied on him a tad bit too much. That's all. It wasn't that bad of a concept though. But yeah, it was a good game. I liked it a lot more than the second. Not as much as the first, but still, like I said, way better than the second. My tier list would go first, third, second. For a rank time, I'm going to make this quick. I'm going to go like an 8.3. It is a good game. Not bad at all. It's one that I wouldn't mind playing again. And that's going to be it for me, guys. I really hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'm actually pretty proud of myself for taking time to go through my backlog because it's been sitting there for a minute. I kind of have to go in with like this fresh sense of mind. So I tell myself, Cheddar, you know, just go in, no expectations, just try to respect and just to see how it is. Give it a chance, you know? And honestly, it's worked. I didn't know if I could get through Kingdom Hearts or Final Fantasy or any of those, and I did. And I really like the game. So hopefully 2025 will be better. Hope you guys have a safe and happy new year. Thank you for the support as always, and I will see you guys next time.